Hey, it's Dan. So in this video I want to talk to you about how to improve your website for 2024. Hey, it's Dan, hope you're well. So let's talk about website design. We're in 2024 and 2024 is slightly different than 2023 because what we tend to find right now is that everything's just so much more harder. You know, people haven't got as much money, it's much more difficult to close business, and you get a lot more people visiting your website but actually don't make any purchases because they ain't got any money, right? So you have to be more persuasive in your copy, in the attractiveness of your website. And you know, how many times have you been looking for something and you land on somebody's website and the website looks like it was made in the 1990s because it hasn't been updated for so long? And so that's another aspect that you need to look at. You're going to have to bring your website into the 21st century if you haven't done already. I mean, we're almost a quarter of the way through the 21st century. It's just bizarre, isn't it, right? Like, I remember 1999 like that. And those websites we created, which were very text heavy. And to some extent, that's kind of coming back. And the reason why we were text heavy in those days is because we didn't have the internet speeds. And the reason why they're coming back is, yeah, people want pretty pictures and want it to look good, but also people go through various stages on their purchasing journey. So one of the stages, and by the way, we call this intent. So one of the stages would be a research intention. So you have to think about what is the intention of the people landing on your website. Is it for research? Are they finding out information? So, I don't know, top 5 things to have on your website, or top 4 things to do when losing weight. That's a research intention. Or is the intention, is that to buy something? So they've done all their research, but now they're ready to buy. And then you've got to think about, well, what are the things that people use as a marker to actually make a purchase? So, for example, do they trust you and your website? Have you got testimonials on your website? Does it look good? Does it look pretty? Is it easy to make contact? Is it easy to get access to speak to someone? Is it easy to book a phone call? Is it easy to transact business? And if you haven't got any of those things going on, then they're going to jump off your website, go on to somebody else's. You know, we know this. We know that 80% of people that visit your website are never ever coming back to your website. I don't even think it's 80%. It's like 93%. 7% of people will only ever come back. And we also know that most people will stay on your website for much less than 7 seconds. I mean, you know, I think the numbers are 93% stay on a website for less than 7 seconds. 93%. And imagine that between 80 and 93% of us are never ever going to come back to your website. Like, you got to hit them quickly, hard. You've got to get them reading, you've got to get them interested, and then once they've been on your website, that's it, pew, they've gone, with sound effects, pew, they've gone, and they'll never come back to your website. So, if you're not capturing your audience on your website, you've already lost them. Already, right? And so then you've got to go, well, how did you get them to the website in the first place? Now, this is one of the good things about social media, is that if someone clicks a link from your social media profile, there's probably a good chance that they're already a friend of yours on your social media profile, which is why you have to keep putting out more content, right? That's the reason why you have to put out more content, because you've got to drive people back to your website. You've got to stay in front of people as much as possible. And when someone's thinking about, let's say, I need a new website, because that's what we do, once they land on our website and they bounce off, because it's the same for us, they're going to bounce off just like they do for you. Just because we're a web design agency, we still struggle with everybody else getting people to stay on a website and getting them to click on different pages. We might do better than everybody else, but it's only slightly better, because that's just human psychology. We can't change that because we have a good website. So if someone lands on our website because they've clicked on something on our social media pages, then we've got to put more content out to give them more opportunity to click back to the website. And then at some point they'll message us via social media, they'll go to a website, they'll fill in a form, they'll phone the phone number that's under the logo on the website, whatever that happens to be. But it has to be an all-encompassing, holistic way, a holistic method of putting content out, having a good website, having good calls to actions. You know that people are going to bounce off your website, so then you've got to get them again in social media and send them back to your website. And after you do that several times, at that point, when they're ready to buy whatever the thing is that you happen to do and whatever the thing is that they happen to want, at that point, they're then going to buy. But they're only going to buy from a guy or a girl whose website they've been to 15 times. Because that's intention. So they've done the research, they've found you. Now you're building trust and authenticity, and you're building some level of relationship. Even though you might not be doing it face to face and in a conversation, you still have to build a relationship using social media content or through the content that's on your website. It's like a snake eating its own tail. You've got to have the content that sends them back to your website. Once they've gone on your website, you know, that's like a plus. Let's say that you've got to get to them up to 20 points, right? And every time they see a social media post, that's a plus. And when they go to your website, that's a plus too. Well, how many times do they need to you know, what number do they need to get to? Is it 20? Is it 50? Is it 100? So it might be you've got to send them to your website 25 times, which means you need 40 pieces of content. That's how it works, folks. In 2024, this is why you've got to be absolutely prevalent on getting your social media content up and out. Anyway, I hope you find that useful. We'll catch up with you in the next one. My name's Dan Latto. Have a wicked day. Take care.